welcome to another episode of Hey Sis Coffee and Conversation. I am so pleased that all of you are tuning in. Give me a thumbs up if you can see and hear me. I want to make sure that we have everything together. And this is going to be such a wonderful show. If you didn't share it, please, with all of your female friends, especially those who are about 38 and older. We are going to be talking about the pause today. And we are going to be having open, honest conversations. Please do not be embarrassed to, if you have a question, to put it in the chat. We want to talk. We want to be able to share with each other. Some of us are battling and we don't know what is going on. And so we want to be able to have this kind of open discussion. So I am excited, sisterhood. I am excited for this show. So we are going to get right into it. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in, watching, those of you. Now, let me tell you, if you hear me start to shout people out and I don't shout you out, it's because if you don't comment, I can only see that you are tuned in. I can't see who it is. So let me just say to my people who may be shy and you're not in the comments, thank you so much for tuning in. But let's get right into this conversation, the pause. Please help me welcome my good friend, and she is a menopause coach. Y'all know I try to bring professionals in to have these conversations with us. So please help me welcome Miss Patrice Lockhart.
Hello.
Hi, Patrice.
Hi. How are you?
Welcome. It is so good to
you.
see you. I mean, we got to talk about this. We don't talk about this enough. It's amazing how we will go into details and we will talk about our menstruation, right?
Yeah.
We're going to discuss that, the cramps, the this, the that, the next, whatever.
Menopause.
But menopause, not so much. Sheila Grant, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Menopause, not so much. We have been embarrassed about that, right?
Unfortunately.
But we got to talk about it because it is a part of life. And there are those of us who are going through this and we are suffering in silence. We are suffering in silence and it is dangerous. And so we need to be able to talk about this. And the thing about it is, two people could be going through it and just be experiencing very different symptoms. So let's start, I like to start with what is it? What is it when we say perimenopause? And what is the age range of that? And then also when we say menopause, what do we mean when we're using those terms?
Okay. Perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause are the stages of the menopausal transition. Perimenopause is about 8 to 10 years before a woman stops bleeding. Menopause is actually a day. It is when a woman has officially stopped bleeding for 12 full months. So, on that date, she is officially in menopause one day.
So let me just be clear. If you are, if now you are at a point, thank you so much for tuning in, Miss Benjamin. Lord, I got to remember to add the Simmons, but I know you as Miss Benjamin. So thank you so much for tuning in. So if you are you're at the stage where your period is now irregular. So it isn't that it's fully stopped. Maybe it came on in January, but then you don't see it till April, and then it came on in May, but then it don't come back until September. That is not menopause.
No, you're in perimenopause. And here's why you go into perimenopause. As little girls, all of us came with, I call it a basket of eggs, about 33 years worth of eggs. And we begin to use up these eggs that we came with when we start having a period. When you go into perimenopause, you are on the last set of eggs that you came into this world with. And because you're on the last set, you're using up the last set of eggs, the estradiol that your body has been, that kicked in during puberty to help you have this period every month, it starts to diminish because you don't need it like you used to when you had the whole heap of eggs and all that stuff. And so once the estradiol begins to diminish or decline, that's because your eggs have started to decline. You only have a small number of eggs left to use over the next whether it's 8 to 10 years during that perimenopausal transition. Then, like I said, we go into the menopause, which is 12 full months of not having a period. That day is called menopause. And postmenopause is from then until about 65. Normally, globally, women subside around 65. Not all, but globally, that's the global number.
Okay.
And that's
And
a
so how long does
transition.
perimenopause last? A year, 2 years?
Oh, no, between 8 to 10 years. Every woman is different. Um, Mine was 12.
Wow.
And mine actually began because I was going through a lot of stress and anxiety, and stress can trigger menopause. Oh,
Wow.
it can trigger a menopause. But 8 to 10 years, some women, um, and a lot of women only associate menopause with the hot flashes or the night sweats or not sleeping, but
Right.
not every woman experiences this. And not because you're not experiencing these symptoms mean that you're not experiencing menopause. There's a You know what, when I do my sessions and women, I list off the symptoms of menopause, they are shocked because they didn't realize, oh, this is why this is happening. And I'm like, yeah, it's more than the hot flashes. It's more than the night sweats. It really is.
So well, you said it's more than that. Let's begin to talk about some
Oh,
of those other things.
okay. Menopause has
Even from the,
more than,
can we take it even from the perimenopausal stage?
okay, the
Some
perimenopause.
things that you
Okay.
may be experiencing.
I will say this. We're about at 66 symptoms. Initially, it was over 35,
How many?
about 66 now.
Six.
And it's
I
counting.
wasn't sure
What
you
has
said 66.
Listen here. I remember when I had a naturopathic doctor friend come here to Nassau, and she was from Texas, and she was saying that she and another doctor were counting before she came here to Nassau, and she was telling me about it, but it wasn't on the books yet. What has happened now with menopause? Because there are now menopause professionals like myself. Now more research is being done, more attention is being done to menopause. Now, menopause is now being considered in the workplace. Governments are now considering it. Oh, I got some plans for our country because I've got
Yes.
women who have to be home because they can't work. They have to work from home. We'll talk about that part, but
Okay.
menopause affects us so much in the workplace. A lot of what's been complained about the women, it's menopause, but we've not been able to pinpoint it and understand that that's
That's what it
menopause. That's
is.
why the woman is like that.
So, what are let's delve into some of these signs and
The
symptoms of
symptoms.
perimenopause and menopause. And before you go
Okay.
into it, I just want to say, hey, sis, to Ursula and to Marsha and to Treese. Thank you all for tuning in.
Okay. Some of the symptoms. Let me start with how it affects our brain. The symptoms beginning of
Okay.
different parts of our brain. First of all, menopause affects our brain more than we can ever imagine. Menopause is more than a reproductive transition. It's a brain transition. Many women can't sleep, insomnia, and it's because the stem of their brain is not getting support. Many women deal with mood swings. They're irritable. They're not motivated. They don't want that. They're miserable, and it's because there's a part of their brain that's not getting the support that it's been getting with this estradiol that they once had in abundance. you don't have it anymore. There's another part of the brain that deals with the memory, the focus, the concentration, the lapse, all of these things. Women deal with that and can't remember names. You're talking and then you can't remember a word. Uh, that's menopause. And what I try to teach my clients is that you can help your brain. Unfortunately, because we haven't been taught, a lot of times we leave these things, and unfortunately, research is showing even women going into dementia and Alzheimer's when it comes to this aspect, because our brain goes through a lot. Now, research has also shown
Mm.
that around 65, women's brain taper back off. They've done a lot of research and they compared with the male and the female brain. Even in one of my sessions, I show what a woman's brain looked like before menopause and in menopause. I mean, it was like literally our brains go through a lot. Then there's
Wow.
another part of our brain, the hypothalamus, that's responsible for temperature control. This part of our brain also goes awry for many women because once again, it's not getting the support that it's been getting all of those years, before perimenopause. And the hypothalamus is responsible for temperature control. So we have the hot flashes, the night sweats, vasomotor issues, dizziness, nausea, headaches. All of this is because of menopause. Now, that's only the brain part of it, how
That's only the
menopause
brain.
is.
Oh Lord, that's enough right there. So somewhere in there that accounts then too for, because I know some who experience brain fog.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Like crazy. Like
man, Patrice, you
crazy.
said that so yeah. Like, yeah, man.
Listen here. I get to hear so much stories, and when bring all these women together, when I have sessions, then also when I do my consultations, and you know, a lot of professional women have a hard time as well during this time, because you have people who are accountants who they have depended on their brain all this time, and when their brain starts lagging and they start forgetting and they aren't as quick as they normally have been, a lot of them begin to question themselves, question, us women, we're easy to come down on ourselves.
Yes,
um,
yes.
and because we don't know, a lot of women sometimes go into shells. They don't know what to do. Unfortunately, some women end up taking a lot of medication, which is sad. When I often tell women, menopause is not a medical condition. It's a natural transition in a woman's life. Just how you came into this world as a baby and moved to a toddler, to a child, to an adolescent, menopause is just another chapter. It's just that we were not taught how to go through this stage, how to enter this stage, how to prepare our bodies for shutting down of reproduction. We just weren't.
Right. Well, let me just I do have a question.
Hmm.
And some comments. Let me just say hello, because I like to. So I want to say thank you for tuning in, Shireen and Masha. Yeah, I said Masha, Regina, Dulcie, Alicia, Nicole. Honeycombs 25. That's what it says. I don't know who that is, but thank you for tuning in. Hi, Annie. And so, and Miss Stacy Knowles, thank you too for tuning in as well. I have one statement from Anita. Anita saying, I cannot believe I have to go through these symptoms for that long. Well, Anita, here's the thing. You may not experience all
No,
of these symptoms.
and
You may
and
not. Hey, sis,
no,
Lisa
and
Hicks,
need.
thank you for tuning in. And then she's not a doctor, Miss Benjamin. She is a menopause coach, though, and she is certified and has done a lot of studies. Miss Benjamin wants to know, what is the support then that the brain needs?
Okay, that is what I deal with. And I want to tell Anita first, because Anita, believe me, all is not lost. One of my visions is, once I am really get it together with the women in this country talking about menopause and passing on menopause information, I want to begin to go to the women in from about 34, 35, before 40, to learn to prepare their bodies for menopause. Because if we begin to prepare our bodies by dealing with our liver, keeping our liver clean, and our adrenal, because our adrenal system, there's a lot of demand on the adrenal system during perimenopause and menopause. Once you get into menopause, and because the majority of women's adrenal system is not in proper working condition, that's why we have so much of these symptoms. Research has shown that when women's adrenal glands are working optimally, they have an easier or smoother transition. Now the other lady was Miss
Miss
Umbrista. She's
Benjamin.
Benjamin. What was Miss Benjamin's question?
Ms. Benjamin said, is there anything that you could do to help the brain? Thank you for tuning in, Shakitha. And yes,
Yes.
Sheila, I hope you guys are enjoying it because I know I am. And I know we're going to have some great, fantastic takeaways from this. But she's saying, is there anything you can do to help the brain?
Yes. Most certainly, I can tell you, I have clients who think the world of me, and it's only because, first of all, let me say it's because of God. And I tell women, God has the menopausal women on His mind. We have been suffering for so long. Women have been placed in mental institutions, thinking they're going crazy. I mean, oh, it is just crazy. But because we don't know. Now, as far as helping the brain, yes. Um, and of course, let me just say, I work with my clients naturally. I do not deal with pharmaceuticals. As a menopause health practitioner, I cannot prescribe drugs for you, but I put together protocols for women. And my protocols are I put together supplements, foods, lifestyle, because a lot of our lifestyle are triggering so much stuff and we don't even realize it. But one of the things that I put women on, I have something called maca root powder. I did three groups because we don't have any research. One of the things I am doing is my own research on the
Own research,
Bahamian women.
okay.
I did three groups of women so far, about 25 in each group. And I did them on a 30-day, taking their maca for 30 days. And every day I was reminding them to take their maca. Now, I did not put them in a group where everybody knew what the other one was saying, but when they signed everything, that it was for them to tell me everything that was going on, when they stopped having hot flashes, when they slept, whatever happened. And it's amazing. I had three different groups of Bahamians, and some were from Freeport in the group. I think about two of the groups. And one of the things that helps women a lot is the maca root powder. Maca root, what it does, it has a lot of what's called phytoestrogen, and it's plant estrogen. And when we put that back into our body, what we're doing is we're putting back into an empty cup. We're filling back up an empty cup. If you
Let
understand
me
what I'm
just
saying.
ask you because I want to put it in the, excuse, sorry.
Mhm.
I want to put it in the comments so that they see maca, M-A-C-H-A.
No, MACA,
Okay.
maca
Root
root, ROOT powder. Yes.
powder. Okay.
Uh-huh. And for those,
M-A-C-A. Okay.
now I carry it as well. Now I must warn people: you have to make sure. Unfortunately, we live in a world where everything is about the mighty dollar, and so you have a lot of products out there that are not what
What they
the
claim to
label
be.
says. And that I often have to warn people against it. I've had clients who have been on my products, and then when they went and got something else and asking, how come I'm not getting the same results? And it's because I understand what's out there. I understand what to look for, and sometimes people don't want to pay for it. But when you want the pure grade and the better product, and if you want results, many times you have to pay for it. And sometimes paying for it must sometimes even mean just doing a bit more deeper research so that you don't waste your money just because something was advertised to you. Also, I want to say to women, ashwagandha.
Child,
S.
listen.
Yeah, let me
I know
spell
she
that
had
for
to say,
you.
child, spell that. A-S.
ASH
Mm-hmm.
WAGANDHA. Ashwagandha. Now I'm saying this let me say this with parentheses because I don't like to throw these things out like that. But one of the things I want to do, I want to be of help to women. Now,
Mm-hmm.
every woman is different, and I every woman is
Yes.
different. So not because you're having symptoms with let's say ashwagandha is good for memory and focus and concentration. That's good for women, but not every menopausal women, even though they're having that issue, should be on ashwagandha. Let me give an example. I had a client, her testosterone levels were high, and her friend was on this product, and she was taking it. And so when we were in
She was
a
taking the
session,
same product her friend was taking.
yes, and
Okay, got you.
she was telling me how she tried this product, and I was like, why would you try that? Why did you try that? She said, well, her friend took it and it worked for her. And I looked at her symptomology. I said, no, that can't work for you. Your testosterone levels are high. That will send that even higher. And one of the things that's why I don't necessarily like to
Just
give
put the
this as
products
just
out
throw
there.
right.
Make
No.
sure. So, ladies,
Yeah.
I don't want y'all to just go by the macaroon, go by the ashwagandha. I hope
Yeah.
I pronounce it correctly, and then
Yeah.
take it incorrectly. And what you're
Yeah.
experiencing
Call
is
me.
different.
Right. Because
Reach out.
sometimes there are
We're
certain
gonna have Patrice's contact number and everything so that you are
Mhm.
able to reach out to her and speak to her one on one. Because I don't want us to, over medicate, under medicate. I don't want
Right.
us
Yes. Uh-huh.
not take what's needed for us.
Right.
Because, like
Right.
you said, while we may all experience this, we experience things differently.
Yes. And different because you and I might have 10 symptoms that are alike, but I might have another three. And I often say, like we talked about, when my clients book sessions with me, I send them a chart of every all of the menopausal symptoms. And then what they do is send their symptoms back to me. And their symptoms tell me their story. And I'm
Yeah.
able to go from there because um, your body has its own story from another
I- I'm,
person.
I'm, I'm, I'm laughing because TW is saying, that's Tafara say, yeah, say that because, we already had them in the Amazon cart.
No,
But
please.
I
You
think
know,
there were two questions that I want to go back. I don't want anybody to think I missed their question. The first one is, can you elaborate more on the liver and the adrenal system? She's saying, so no rum and plenty water. Please elaborate when you get another minute to talk about that. And then also we had a question. 53-year-old and they are still having their monthly cycle. They want to know,
yeah,
is
me
that
too.
normal?
Yeah, listen here. I stopped bleeding a month before I went into menopause. Officially 1 month before I turned 54. So, oh yeah, honey child, you good?
Well,
And
they okay. So don't think you abnormal. It
oh
happened to
no.
her 1 month
Oh,
before she turned 54. So
and
at
let me tell you,
53.
there in this country, I think four anomalies so far I've met. A woman who was bleeding at 65. I remember she's from Andros. She said the women ran. She went on a retreat. The women ran out of the room because she was bleeding. 68, no, 65. One was 65, 68, 70 something. For some from Freeport I've met, one from San Salvador. So we have women who bleed even later, but they will hide it because it's an anomaly. It's not normal.
Right, right.
But it does happen.
Well, I
Um,
hope some of them are tuning in so they know that they are not walking this. You're so, because you're not saying, you're embarrassed to say, you're walking these roads and you are like, oh, I'm the only one, not knowing
nah.
that there's some other people there with you. And then what also can we do to help our liver
Okay, yeah, let's
and
talk about
adrenal
the liver.
system?
Okay.
besides cutting out the rum.
That would help too. But
Right.
our liver is responsible for taking out toxins out of the body. One of the things, our diets is filled with a lot of foods that have hormones and genetically modified foods and synthetic hormones. And let me explain this. When we make about, I forgot, about 16 mg's of hormones as a woman, the chicken produces 10 times more hormones than you and me produce. The cow, the pregnant cow, it's 100 times more hormones. And when you go into the food store and you buy that beef and that cow was pregnant, you're now putting in a bunch of hormones in your body. Now, you got to understand that God made hormones. Hormones have what's called signaling power. They send signals throughout the body for the body to do. It gives different commands. Okay. Now, a hormone, whether it's in my body, your body, or the cow body, or the chicken body, is a hormone. A hormone has signaling power, and it's going to do what it's been designed to do. So if you put the chicken hormone in your body, the cow hormone in your body, and you have cow hormone in your body, then what happens is we end up with all these hormones, overload of hormones. And that's why women in the Western world deal with so much severe menopausal symptoms as opposed to the women in the Eastern world. And the research
Lord,
has
listen
shown,
how you telling us to stop eating chicken, to stop eating egg, to stop eating beef. That's what you are saying?
okay, let me put that in perspective, because I eat organic chicken only. And I remember when I was going through in the rough, tough of that menopausal phase, I went on a fast. I went on a fast with my church. And then I decided to extend the fast. So when I finished the fast, I went on my vegetables and soup, whatnot. Then I decided, oh, I can't wait to have a piece of chicken. I went, I bought my organic chicken. I realized, okay, hot flashes came back. And I was like, geez, where'd I come from? I had forgotten. I literally, because I was fasting for so long, I had forgotten. And I was like, what's going on here? And I'm like, that only chicken I added. And then I realized, you know what, Patrice, you know better. Chicken, whether it's organic or not, whether they've added hormones or not, chicken has hormones. So I took it back out and I stopped eating it. I ate it for a couple of days and it, was intensifying. Then I took it back out my diet for a while and it stopped again. It stopped. Then I put it back in and it started again. And it was like adding up 2 + 2 is like, of course. And I mean, even though I had known it, sometimes when it's you, and you don't want to be as disciplined as you need to be, you try to compromise. But what I'm saying is, I still eat chicken now, organic chicken. But what I had to do was during that time, if you understand what's going on, those hormones, the liver is having a hard time getting rid of all that stuff. When a woman is going through menopause, your body is dealing with a lot. You think your brain is not just your brain, even our vaginas, and we're going to talk about the vagina part of it. But there's so much of our body, even the energy. That's why a lot of women deal with energy issues. Your level, the hormone level, was stable before you started going into perimenopause, and when it's today here, and it's going up and down every day, it changes, or every month your body has to adjust. So it's a work
Yes.
for your body itself to deal with it. And so the liver itself is responsible for getting rid of all that toxin out of our body. And when the body's going through already what it's going through, it's hard on the liver because we're eating. And in this side of the world, like I said, we eat a lot of food filled with hormones, not only
So,
real hormones, synthetic hormones as well. That's called endocrine disruptors.
so perhaps what we need to do is, even if we can't say quit cold turkey, but
Mhm.
maybe we just need to slow down on it. If you're eating chicken every day, maybe,
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. you need to replace chicken. See, because we need to be good to our bodies during this time. It is a transition. And sometimes we allow our tongues to lead us, or our taste buds to cause us to go get into problems, because that's why the body, when you look at the research between European, us in the Western world and the Eastern world, it's so different how we experience menopause. And
Right.
it's because, and the research has shown, it's our diets. It's our diets that's making
Mm.
it so traumatic for us. And
For us.
so the liver needs assistance. So one of the things I want to do is teach women how to go through a course of cleansing the liver. Cleansing the liver, so that you go into menopause with your liver full gusto, full
Okay.
gusto. And then, of course, we're going to have to start diminishing. We're going to start diminishing all those foods filled with hormones, synthetic hormones and real hormones. And then the adrenals. The reason why the adrenals are so stressed out is because the adrenal glands before menopause is responsible for our producing the cortisol, the adrenaline, all of that stuff. All these glands releases different hormones, and the glands are the houses that the hormones live in. So the adrenal glands is responsible for, like I said, the cortisol and the adrenaline. And we live now the day where we're constantly under stress and pressure, and so our adrenal glands are really overworked and stressed. When you stop um, having a period and you no longer have that estradiol, there is a weaker, much weaker form of estrogen that takes over, that the adrenal has to now produce. Now, the adrenal all this time has been doing its work with the cortisol and adrenaline, and it will always prioritize that work. And so the small a bit of estriol that it's supposed to produce for us after menopause many times is compromised. That's why women put on so much weight around the gut
The
area,
stomach.
etc. The adrenals, it's too much on the adrenals when we're eating like this. Literally, it's stressed. And so one of my goals is to teach women how to, let's take care of your liver, let's prepare your liver, and let's prepare your adrenal glands, because your adrenal glands have to take over after the ovaries stop producing estrogen.
I have another question and some comments. Listen here, Anita Sweeting, you and these comments killing me. Anita say, mighty God, the hormones don't die when they kill the thing for me. When they kill the chicken, the hormones don't die then. But
Ah,
Levat wants to know, what can, or is there anything that can be done to lessen the excessive sweating? Child, I want to know. Shireen say, no bear and no more chicken in the bag.
that will help as well. Yeah, to lessen the hot flashes, one of the things I is again, and I don't like to just throw this out. Give me a call, because I work with clients, and again, when I throw out again, because we are society, and I see it so much, and I've had to help pull my clients and say, no, no, you don't do it like this. I had this lady who had hot flashes for years, and I put her on my program. And when she learned, she was on this program that I was doing with these groups of ladies. She was saying, I was taking that for years and it wouldn't work. And I said, no, that's impossible. So I said to her, tell me, what do you do? How do you take? She said, every morning I take it with my coffee. And I'm like, no, coffee stimulates and causes hot flashes to go crazy, cause you to have hot flashes. And so
So
then,
wait. Because I'm a coffee drinker. Say that again, but the coffee?
oh, listen here. I just had someone the other day, a client of mine. She went in front of a group of people doing a presentation. And she called me back. She said, Patrice, guess what? I just came off stage. All the while I was fine. She said, when I went on stage, in the middle of my presentation, I break out into hot flashes and sweating. And so she said, just all of a sudden, so I said to her, so tell me, what did you do before that? What was happening? She said, oh, I just had a coffee and a bag. And I was like, oh, that's why. When you stimulate, there are things, and I teach my clients, there are foods that you need to stay away from: the alcohol, the sugary foods. I'm sorry. All of these hormone filled foods. Believe me, a lot of what we're doing because of our lifestyle, we are pulling, we're causing it. And I have
But
clients who,
Patrice, I really, really like coffee. Like
I
coffee is one
know.
of my good friends. Like we really tight.
I know one lady said to me, well, Jesus, I have to deal with this stuff because I ain't giving her the coffee. And I
You
looked at her
sound
and she
like
was
my
so
friend too.
serious. Now, I've had women who've had to really give it up because it was that bad. And some women, because their symptoms are very horrible, they have to, and they get great results. Then I've had
What
one like
about if you cut back? Can you cut back? Will that help? Well, don't
oh,
laugh, man.
hey, hey, you won't compromise real bad, hey.
With the coffee,
Hey,
yes.
hey, you can't be half pregnant though.
You know what? You didn't have to say it
See
like
what you
that.
can, eh? See what you can do. There is a time that you will have to pull back because you're gonna have to be kind to your body. And when you and what I do is I help women's body recuperate by putting phytoestrogen back in their body. And I do it with food. I do it with supplements, and so their body balances back. And many women are shocked, like they didn't know this could happen. And then once your body balances back, you can do a number of things. But what I teach, because I educate women, I educate them so that even after you don't see me, you recognize when the sign is happening. Ah, my body is doing this. I need to do that. And so
What
it's
a
all about education.
Understood. Okay. So what are some things that calling you and doing the one-on-one, you get a fine understanding. But are there some things that we should be including in our diet to help us during this time?
Greens,
Like I'm sure it's going to be fruits
greens.
and vegetables. It ain't like you
Listen
can
here.
say eat more chocolate cake.
Oh, oh no. Oh no. Listen
So
here. I would tell every menopausal woman, drink one green smoothie every day, because the kale and the spinach, put some nuts in that. If you can take soy milk, organic soy milk, or even almond milk, but soy has more
what
phytoestrogen.
about oat milk?
um Not the
Lord
oat.
Jesus, now I gotta go pour the oat milk out the fridge.
No, you can have your oat milk because oats are good. But as far as, see, the thing is, the green juice I'm talking about will act like medicine in the body. And also, what I tell all of your ladies, listen, get some golden flax seeds. Take 1 tablespoon of golden flax seed and put it in your water. This is my, I don't know if you could see this. I was at the
Yes.
Kiwanis the other day and they gave me one of these as a gift. I spoke of that. But put your a tablespoon of flaxseed in your water and put it in the refrigerator overnight and drink that the next day. If you drink 16 ounce, 24 ounce, 32 ounce, put it in that. And what happens is the flax seeds will release the phytoestrogen, it will release the omega, and it release the vitamin E. It is
How much
crazy.
spoons? Because I'm putting it in the chat.
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon of golden flaxseed.
Golden, yes. And you will be surprised. And when women, when their bodies are responding, they're always so surprised. And I'm telling them, it's because your body's lacking something. And once you put it back, your body will respond back to normal again. It will do what it's been designed to do. But if it's lacking, it will go haywire.
Okay, I want to put that in there. Put it in your water. All
Okay.
right. Okay, now we're going to shift gears a little bit because you've already intimidated us and caused us to have to change our diet and stuff and cut out the chicken and minimize our sugar intake, if not cut it out altogether. And the same thing apparently with coffee. We're going to have to really talk about that off air, though, the coffee thing. Um,
But we could work with
but
that. We could work with that.
right. But definitely, I thank you so much. I want to also talk too about so we got some tips, ladies. It's hard, but we're gonna have to really do our best. to change our diet. And we have some, start off with the green smoothie. I'm right up there with the green smoothie, except I need to go back to the almond milk. But I want to
Mhm.
also talk to, let's talk a little bit about some of the emotional, and you did mention it before we go to that. You talked a bit about the vaginal health.
Vaginal. Hmm.
Vaginal health. Let's talk a little bit about that, and then I want us to go on to like the emotional part of this journey of perimenopause and menopause.
Hmm.
Lord, and stop drinking alcohol. Yes, and
Oh
stop drinking
yeah, trigger.
alcohol. Like she didn't
Listen,
even. She
you
said that.
want an
Yes,
instant hot flash?
stop drinking
Instant.
alcohol. Cut it out. Pour it out your
Listen
cup
here.
right now.
Listen here. That'll. I tell you, so much of what we do trigger our symptoms. Unfortunately.
I gotta send
Yeah.
a shout out. Kiwanis is in the building, and so I want to say, all of you ladies who are
Oh,
tuning in from
goodness.
Kiwanis, thank you so much. And you saw the cup, right? So there you go.
Uh,
Miss Benjamin is asking, when you say cut out, when you say cut out all the alcohol, do you mean no red wine?
Miss Benjamin, I wish I could help you. But you know what? Cutout means cutout. I had to do the same thing. Trust me.
Cut out means cut out. No
Yeah.
red wine.
And
And it
again,
ain't
it
as good for
doesn't
the
have,
heart as people say, according to research.
and it's not that you have to do it forever. It really isn't. It's about just getting the body healthy again, getting the body balanced. See, the more you work with your body will work with you. Your body will work with you. But
Listen,
you
Sharon,
just have to
let
put
it
in the work.
go. No coffee. You back to that? Let
Believe
that
me,
go.
hey,
So
believe me, and my clients.
let's talk a little bit about our vaginal health during this
Okay.
time.
Yeah, this is a big thing for me in our country because we don't talk about it. 85% of menopausal women deal with vaginal issues, but we don't talk about it. I host a session called Pelvic Floor Health. And in this session, see, what a lot of women don't understand is that menopause directly affects our vaginas. And it women, when we're dealing with vaginal dryness, itching, burning, leaking, urinary leaking. Sometimes you go to bed, get up the bed, smell of urine. You sit down, you smell like urine. You leave the chair, you smell like urine. You're leaking. Some women have the fecal leaking. Some women have the prolapse, where you can see from the vagina, you can see a part of the uterus coming out of the floor of the vagina, and that's usually the last stage of a prolapse. Then we have women who have to keep running to the bathroom. Most women don't realize this. I had a lady in one of my sessions, and I put her on a protocol, and she sent me a note back thanking me and thanking God. She said she thought that it was a normal part of getting old as a woman, where you have these emergencies where you have to keep running to the bathroom, or sometimes you're wetting up yourself. You can't make it in time. And some women have it where they wet up themselves with incontinence. This happens. And it's because our pelvic floor, what happens for us is that our bladder and our pelvic floor becomes weak, because during this time and during menopause, the thing about menopause is that, as far as our vaginas are concerned, estradiol keeps, first of all, the lubrication that we produce is because we have the estradiol. Number two, when estradiol, we no longer produce the estradiol, our skin becomes thin and dry. In fact, that's why we have the crow lines, these stuff here. We get flabby and put on weight, then cellulite becomes your best friend, all that good stuff. That's because the work of the function that this estradiol was doing in
It's
your
no
body,
longer doing.
and it's no longer there. So, baby girl, ain't it fun to be a woman?
Not so much. Not so
and
much. Not
and
so much.
here is what happens with, and I want to talk about this because my sessions are very interesting when I do the pelvic health floor sessions, because these are the women with the issues, who are embarrassed about it, and I have to have small sessions
Right.
with these women. And a lot of times women don't understand, though, there is help. I have there, there are women walking around. They wear pads every day of their life. They have to wear pads. Um, I had one session. There was a 75-year-old woman and a 65-year-old woman. The rest were in their 50s. Yeah, in the 50s. I think one might have been in the 40s. And when I was talking about the pelvic floor and what happens, she said, "Oh, that's why the older women used to do that. They used to put the cloth, the bath cloth in their panties." And then
Yeah.
the 75 and the 65 was talking about, and the rest of us were looking because we never knew about that. And the conversation began about how the older women, of course, didn't tell them, so they didn't know. And so the
Right.
us in the 50s in the room and the 40s were looking at, as they were talking about this, having this exchange about what they saw their mothers
Do.
do and grandmothers. And one of the things I want to tell women is that there is help. There is help.
Don't suffer in
It's
silence. Don't
Yes,
suffer in
please.
silence.
And in fact, if there's a big enough group, I will come to Grand Bahama, because I've been to Grand Bahama twice or three times this year. Um, and I've not been on this, the second half, I've not. But if we get a group of women together, because it's so important, we suffer, just like the Bible say, for lack of knowledge. I promise you.
No,
Women,
Anita, don't be hurt to your soul. We're getting this information, and then
that's what
guess
this is
what? So that we could
about.
help ourselves and
That's
help
it.
each other. And the thing about it is, not everybody, yes, Lisa, we having this discussion today. These are the things that we keep to ourselves. We hide from ourselves. We're
Mhm.
embarrassed. If you have your husband, you embarrassed. You don't even want to be intimate because of the dryness. You don't
And
want
it's
to be even be intimate because of the leakage.
and
You're
the
embarrassed and
yes,
you withdrawing. And guess what? You too embarrassed. You don't want to go to the doctor because you don't want to tell the doctor that. Well, we're talking about it today so that we can help each other.
and let me
Antoinette wants to know, does exercise help to minimize any of the symptoms?
yes, it does. But let me go back. I
Go
want to
ahead.
go back. For the vaginal dryness and itching and burning, I have a product called Graceful Garden. Women, let me tell you something. Again, there is help. My number is 439.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Graceful
garden.
garden. Oh, graceful
Uh-huh.
garden.
Yeah, it's a feminine
And
oil.
okay, it's a
If you are
feminine
dealing,
oil.
mhm, and it's for
And what's your number?
$45. 439
439
3242.
3242. Okay. And
What I
that
tell
is
women, you don't have to go do synthetic hormone replacement therapy, because all of that, I have clients who have come off it, some who were on, then the doctors have to pull them off. I mean, I get to hear all the stories. Women who now, for the rest of their life, got to deal with liver issues because of what happened, et cetera, et cetera. I hear all the stories. And what I tell women is that, again, I hope the women get this. Menopause is not a medical condition. It is a natural transition in our bodies. It's us understanding what's going on and how to help ourselves. And again, I work with women naturally. So when I work with women, I teach women so that by the time you finish with me, when you understand, you are able to understand what's going on with your body and go live your life. My only thing I tell women is that I want you to now go and talk to other women about menopause. The
yep.
next generation of women should not be entering in this Bahamas, should not be entering menopause unaware, unprepared, and untooled, because you who now have the information don't talk about it. Go in your workplace and talk about it. I have a menopause survival care Facebook group. My YouTube channel will be launched sometime next month, and I'm going to be I take menopause in bits and pieces, and I educate, I educate, I educate. And
Yes, you
I'm
have
on
to.
a mission for this country. Every woman need to understand menopause and start talking about it. We're going to tell our daughters, our
Don't be
cousins,
embarrassed.
our nieces.
The oil is
Yes.
$5, correct?
Pardon?
How much is the oil?
The Graceful Garden is 45. Yes. Yes.
$45.
Hmm.
$45 for the Graceful Garden oil.
Yes. The feminine oil. Yes.
Yes,
And
and
I,
I did put your number in there, and
Mhm.
not just for the feminine oil. If you want to reach out and you want to talk, you want some coaching, you're going through this and you're really struggling, please use that number. Yes, men need to know as well. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
My
I
session, I am so
agree.
proud when the men listen. I have sessions, men come with the women.
They
One of
they
my
need to,
sessions,
because you're
husbands
married and you don't know what's going on. You think this woman going crazy. You think this woman don't love
trying to
you anymore, isn't
withhold.
sexually attracted to you
I
anymore.
get
You
it.
don't know.
I get it all. Men call me asking me about what's going on. Then I remember this lady, one husband thought the woman was cheating on him, the whole 9 yards, and wanted me to talk to her husband because of what was going on. And I said to her, no, I'm gonna leave that to you. I'm gonna teach you what's going on with you. You have to communicate it. Many women have their husbands when if they know I'm on air or on television, they sit together. I mean, I get those stories all the time. And when the husband gets to hear me talking about it, they understand. I had one session, a husband came in the session with his wife, and he said, now I understand. Now I know what to do. Now I know how to help her. Churches bring me in, and one church, the marriage ministry brought me in. That was phenomenal. And I did a session, and there were a couple women had to work. I promise you, the men were there asking me questions like crazy. They were the ones with the pen and the paper
Yeah.
taking notes.
Because if you're in a relationship, it's not just affecting you, it's going to affect your partner as
It
well.
does.
And
It
so for
does.
them to be educated, so Corinne, thank you for that contribution. You're very right. The men need to be a part of it. Please,
Hmm.
if you are struggling, I want you to make sure that you make note of that number. And when our broadcast is done, please reach out to Patrice Lockhart. And I'm telling you, she will speak with you. This is her passion. This is her
Hmm.
training. She went into this to train to be able to help women because of her own experiences. And
Hmm.
I'm going to let her touch on a bit of that before we go to say some of the things that she went through on her job at the time and everything. But Patrice, let's delve a little bit into, before we're completely out of time, about
Hmm.
some of the emotional part of going through
Menopause.
perimenopause and menopause.
Yes. Because menopause hits so many of us, most of us unaware, unprepared. You're going about living your life, normal life, and then life begins to change. And you're not able to explain what's going on, why your body is doing all of these things it's doing, why you're today, 1 minute you're fine, the next minute you're miserable, the next moment you're not motivated, or the next moment you're forgetting. And this causes a lot of women to doubt themselves. You have a
Yeah,
lot of women who have been aggressive, making life happen, because I could tell you, even with me, I didn't know what was going on. And you find that I wasn't on top of my game like I used to was before. I didn't understand. I It felt as though I was going down, hitting a downward spiral
I
mentally and
termed it,
emotionally.
I used to say, or I say, my get up and go is gone.
Right. Yes. And it's not because you're being lazy. It's not because you don't care, but it's because of the changes. And again, when our brain, again, that brain, once the brain is being affected, that's when you know your brain is being affected. When we start dealing with the emotional, and menopause affects women physically, emotionally and mentally. Some women have all three, some just have two, some just have one aspect. And some women, I deal with some women who just have the mental aspect of it. And that I have to deal with them different from I deal with someone who's dealing with physical and emotional. And a lot of women, many women tell me, I thought I was going crazy. I feel as though I'm going crazy. And they're afraid because they feel as though they're losing it and they have no control over, they feel as though they have no control. And I say to you, if you're dealing with the mental and emotional aspect of it, first, you're not going crazy. But what is happening to you needs to be addressed. Again, I am open for consultations, etc. And I tell women, stop trying to thug it out. We like to try and save money. And I always tell women, the woman you are today, when 20 years from now, the woman you are 20 years from now will either curse or bless the woman you are today based on the decision you make. Because you
Yes.
can make life better for you or worse for you if you just sit there and talk about, no, you're going to talk. No, you need to care for yourself and invest in yourself. I can tell you, women tell me, my God, I didn't know. I wish I knew before. And again, you stop a lot of things. And we haven't even talked about postmenopause and what happens with women in postmenopause, why even our bones become fragile, why with the blood sugar levels, women have the issues because once the estradiol goes, the estradiol wants keep the bad cholesterol at bay and the good cholesterol hanging around. And once that estradiol goes, it's like once the cat is away, the mouse can play. And so we put on this weight. We're trying to figure out why. And it's because we don't know. We don't know how to deal with it. And again, it's understanding what you need to do. You don't have to. Now, I put on weight, but I take it off when I see and our metabolism slows down also at this time. But what I say to women is, yes, you can help yourself. Believe me, yes, you can. It
I
doesn't have
have
to
a
get out of
question.
control.
Miranda wants to know, how long does menopause last for? Well, I know perimenopause, according to you, can last for about eight
Eight
to
to
10
10
years.
years.
Eight
Eight
to
to
10
10
years, and
years.
that typically happens at 40,
Right.
right?
Yes. Now let me put
Mhm.
this also in perspective quickly. The European, and this is why I said, I told you earlier, studying under the European system, um, then I had to go and balance it with the
US system.
American system. Um, Caucasians, their period basically ends between 51 and 58. Now, I have noticed two sets of trends. We have one set of women who 53, 54, that is happening. But in the US, and I'm finding a number of Bahamian women, 48, 49. And so it's trending. I'm watching the numbers as I deal with the women and I listen to their numbers. But usually around between 51 and 58 is when women stop bleeding. Anytime between that time. Again, Latinos and Black women, number of research is showing that 49, 49 is when the majority of Black women seem to be going into menopause. And so, again, it's different,
It
but
varies.
we all have different backgrounds, etc.
And
But
just so we retrace, just in case a lot weren't tuning in, menopause, you are considered to be in menopause when you have gone 12 months
12
consecutively, a
yes,
consecutive
not start
12
and stop.
months without having a period, without bleeding. That is when you are considered in
In
menopause.
menopause, right?
If it
Which is
is
one day.
irregular, if it's irregular, if it come on today but don't come on till 2 months from now, but it did come back, you are
Perimenopause,
still in perimenopause. When
because you
you
still
can
have
mark that
eggs.
you have gone 12 months without seeing a period, then you are in menopause. And here's the thing that I want to ask. When you are in menopause, it doesn't mean that you stop experiencing all of these things, does it?
Oh no. Honestly, I you know what? I don't want to sound like a bearer of bad news. When you go into menopause, that means you complete estradiol has said bye bye. Bye bye. She's
Completely.
take she has got, and then that's when a lot of the symptoms get worse for women because your body's on dry now. It literally, you no longer have estradiol. At least you're in perimenopause. You had some, so you know you're dealing with a lot of stuff. A
And
lot of
how
women
long
do it.
does this last?
Like I said, research has shown about 65 is when globally women, the menopausal symptoms die off. Now,
Lord.
here in this country, oh, I got clients in their late 60s and 70s I've been having to deal with to help them get past and get through their menopausal symptoms. And again, I say it's because we have not been taught, and not just here in the Bahamas. It's been global, and that's why there are women and professionals like me who have decided to train specifically in the area because medically, our doctors, it's not been on their training. We've had now gynecologists now who will talk to you about hormone replacement therapy, but it's not about menopause. And that's why I mean, all of this has come about because menopause is a part of women's health care that has been neglected. And it's now being addressed globally.
Wow. Wow. This is I just want to say, and we're not at the end of the show, but I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because
Mhm.
like I think who it was, Lisa. Lisa said she thought she was going crazy. And that was the emotional aspect, the anxiety, the depression that you feel for
Oh,
no reason,
yes.
being
Mm,
emotional for no reason. One minute you up, the
yes.
next minute you down.
Some women tell me, I don't cry. Why am I cry? I've seen the toughest of women say to me, I don't cry all my life. I don't cry. All of a sudden, I'm weeping. I'm weeping for no reason. And they don't understand that that sends women, especially these type of women who are not normally emotional, they have a hard time because it's like they no longer have a grip. Menopause can make you feel as though you've lost a grip on yourself, depending on, your especially the emotional and the psychological aspects of menopause. And I often have to comfort women and tell them nothing's wrong with you. No, nothing's wrong with you. You're menopausal. Now, here's how we're gonna deal with this to get your hormones balanced. And once we get your hormones balanced, you're fine. You're fine again. Some women, one lady, when we came back to her second time, her second consult, she was like, I even forgot I was going through those things. But it's just a matter of getting your hormones, your body leveled again.
Wonderful. Is
Mhm.
there anything else that you wanted to share that we haven't? I know we've just touched the surface, but some other things that you could share with all of our
Yes.
sisters listening and tuning in. Hi, Katsia. Thank you so much for tuning in. But what else can you share?
The hair, listen, there are a couple of things.
Oh, Lord.
Women don't understand. You know why you start going bald around this area and losing hair? Estradiol keeps your hair in its growing phase. When it begins to diminish and when it goes, so many women don't understand. That's why you're losing hair. That's why your hairline is gone or whatnot. Then the skin. Um, a lot of women deal with the dry skin, etc. They start wrinkling, and I wish I brought my recapture with me. I have I have something called recapture that I put women on that helps them with their skin. I've seen one lady had all of this hanging down, all became firm again. And what I tell women is just an understanding, It's just an understanding. So a lot of women are dealing with their skin, they're drying and itching, and they can't figure out what's going on. They're losing their hair, even their eyebrows begin to thin. That's menopause. Then a lot of women deal with the headaches and the dizziness and the nausea, the vasomotor system going awry because of menopause. And our bones. Oh, the postmenopause. Listen, ladies, when we go into postmenopause, There's some functions that estradiol, she was a big gun in our body. And when she's gone, um, you need to understand, they always told us, and I thought this was so interesting when I learned this studying menopause. They always told us in our 50s we need to take calcium, they to strengthen your bones. Do you know why we need to? Estradiol keeps our bones moving the old bone and replacing new bone. Scientists tells us that every year our body is, and we have a new body. The skin is changed. It keeps rejuvenating. Estradiol is responsible for that process for us as women, moving old bone, putting new bone, and so you always have strong, healthy bones. That process is no longer happening once estradiol is gone. That's why they tell us that we become
Calcium.
fragile, and our bones we need to protect. We don't have that anymore. Gut. A lot of women deal with gut issues. The balance of your gut is directly affected by the balance of your hormone. A lot of women deal with the bloating, the constipation, issues with the stomach. I've got a lot of clients that I have to help balance their gut. And once the balance is the gut is balanced and their hormones, they taper off. Again, it affects so much, because estradiol affects so much functions in our bodies, is why we have these various symptoms that we have to deal with.
Ms. Benjamin, I think you had a question earlier. It came back to my mind. I'm looking for it. I think, and you could correct me if you're still tuned in. I believe you asked if DIM helps. I don't know what DIM. Are you familiar with DIM?
DIM? No. Does she
Mhm.
mean
Well,
D3?
I don't know. So, Ms. Benjamin, if you're still tuned in, go ahead and post that question again. Maybe I'm saying the wrong letters, and so we can find out more about that. Okay, DIM. Are you
Okay, I'm
familiar
not.
with DIM?
No. Is that a
She's
product?
not familiar with that product. If it is a product, she's not familiar with it. So we're not able to say.
Yeah.
And again, perhaps you could go into more details. You can go ahead and make sure that you do call Patrice once we're off air, and you can go into detail exactly what it is, and maybe she'll be able to, give you some recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a product. Yeah, she's not familiar with it though.
No, with
So
dim, no.
yeah,
And
she's
like
not
I
familiar with
always say, I only the and I let me tell you something. Everybody all over is coming out trying asking me to try their products on the menopausal women, and I mean, from as far as Jamaica calling me, and I often tell persons with these products, I do not, unless I try them. I have someone who was just asking me about some products, and they were carrying it, and I had three of my menopausal women try it first, free of charge, and I do that. Then I do not, even my products, I do not. Um, because I understand this process of menopause. We want help. I just had to explain to one gentleman wanting to come into one of my sessions. I said, my sessions are very intimate and private for women. I'm not going to have a bunch of vendors just standing around waiting to sell a
saying
bunch of
try
products.
this, try that, try the next.
No, no, no. So I'm very particular. They have to be clean products. They have to be organic, and try it and test it. And like I said, I do my own testing. I have clients try stuff, and um, they try it free of charge. And what I do is I try it on my clients, especially who have problems that are hard to deal with. And if this works, they give me the reports. So, but dim, no,
You're not familiar with that. Okay.
no.
Anita thinks, so should we be supplements? Should we be taking calcium supplements?
Calcium, magnesium, zinc, calcium, magnesium, yeah, zinc, D3. Let me tell you something. As menopausal women, because you need the calcium, the magnesium, the D3. You need that. I mean, that's hands down. We need omega. Our brain
D3, and
food
what was
for
the other
us,
one you said? Calcium, magnesium,
calcium,
D3,
magnesium, D3, and with zinc. Some have zinc in it.
and zinc. Okay.
That's a minor mineral.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, but most have the three:
And you were
calcium,
saying something
magnesium,
about
well, calcium,
omega.
magnesium, and zinc. Omega 3, 6, and 9. Listen, that is not, it can't be compromised. That's brain food. That's one of the ways we help our brain through this transition. We've got to feed it the omega. So whether you eat it in your salmon, one salmon a week is enough omega 3 for the whole week. Okay.
But we
Foods
can't
rich in.
afford some, and you try to buy some.
Sure. I had a small salmon earlier. You know what? And listen here, we have
One
to stop.
piece. It have to be wild caught.
Yes, we want to
Wild
farm
caught.
raise, no farm raise. Oh,
Okay.
because all these hormones and stuff they're putting in, all that causes causing our bodies to go awry. Because these things are not naturally supposed to be in our bodies, and our bodies are reacting to a lot of the synthetic things we're putting in our bodies. So the omega, definitely every woman ought to be taking omega. Ought to be no if, ands, and buts, omega 3, 6, and 9. Whether
But you
you
know what
take,
it is? When I just realized, since you tell us we can't have coffee, you tell us we got to stop drinking alcohol. No more chicken in the bag. That that money we saving, I guess we'll have to spend it on the salmon egg.
listen here, and and by the time you finish and you buy your supplements and you balance out, you could go back on your stuff and do it in moderation. Because now, again, I want women to understand. I'm not saying you have to come off it forever. It's allowing your body to balance and heal. And it's like, it just needs time to regroup. The brain going through it. We need to be fair to the brain. Give your brain the omega 3, 6, and 9. It needs it. You get the flaxseed as well. That releases, like I said, 1 tablespoon of that in your water. Drink that water all day. You
Golden
are
flaxseed, 1 tablespoon in
golden.
your water,
Yes.
and you can drink that all day.
Yes.
Daniel,
You're
we got to
putting
cut
it
back
back
on
in
the
your body.
coffee. Notice I didn't say cut it out. We got to cut back. So if we having it 7 days a week, sometimes people is up coffee twice and 3 times a day. I just saying some people, we just got to cut back. Don't look
Ooh,
at me like
and
that.
pray for y'all.
Maybe cut down maybe 3 times. Maybe
Ooh,
let's start
yeah,
to see
that's
how we
better
can
than
make it with
nothing.
three times a week.
Yes, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I had one lady, she's no, she's an accountant. Oh, that was hard for her. She said, but I had to. Because she, in her session, that was the hardest thing. She could not, because she needed a coffee to take her through. But then she got results, and it got that bad that she needed to do something. But then you're able to go back, and you're able to take and this, and then what happens is when you're going back, you're able to measure it, how much your body can take. Because maybe 2 days, your body could take it 3 days, and you're fine. And you find, okay, if you go push it to 5 and 6 days, you find, oh, I going back to hot flashes again. Then you realize, oh, okay, I could take this amount because I am on the next end taking care of myself. So it's a balance, and your body talks to you. It's just about you listening.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So before we wrap up, Patrice, I want to thank you. But before we wrap up, is there any more tips that you'd like to share that we could begin to any other tips that we could weave into our life now? For those of us
Yes.
who are in the perimenopause or the menopausal stage, what is it that your final words to wrap up?
Two things: self-care and stress. First, let me tell stress. Let's talk about stress. Listen, ladies,
Yes.
stress and menopause, they are not a good combination. Poor combination. You dealing with stress on the job, stress from your husband, stress in the home, stress on the streets. Listen, the body will, as long as you're dealing with any level of stress, and it doesn't matter, environmental, physical, internal. When I talk about internal, and mental and emotional, as long as the body recognizes stress, the adrenals will release the cortisol and the adrenals, and you don't want that. So one of the things I tell women to do, exercise but weights, not a bunch of cardio puts the body under more stress, so your body will release more cortisol, etc., and adrenaline. You don't want that. So there's a balance there, but exercise is so good for us during this time. It really is, the bones.
So
And
just
for
not just maybe cut back on the cardio.
you can cut back, but not a lot of cardio, because especially, and again, it depends on where the woman is at. And again, in my sessions, I'm able to tell, how much you can do, if you should not do it at all.
Okay.
Because one of the things also that the exercise does is that naturally our brain ends up producing some endorphins and serotonin that is very good, that helps to create a balance again, etc. So stress, stay away from it. And then the
Okay.
next thing, self care. One of the things about menopausal women is that menopausal women during this time in their lives, that some of them are dealing with their kids, whether they're in university or marriage. So they're dealing with the kids' problems. They are trying to finish paying off this mortgage. Some of them are dealing with a lot of relational issues. They spend a lot of time with a mate and it's not going well. Life is not happening the way they want. Many are dealing with issues on the job. Then a lot have to deal with parents, elderly parents. They have to be taking care of elderly parents as caretakers. And so it's a lot on menopausal women at this time, while her body and mind is going through all of this. And so women tend not to be very good caretakers of themselves. They put themselves on the back burner.
Last.
I want to say to you, ladies, listen, take care of yourself. I'm not talking about the selfish taking care of yourself, but during this time, if there's ever a time you need to prioritize taking care of you, because you need this body to go the rest of the mile of the journey with you. You need this body, and not just to go the rest of the mile of the journey with you, but you want this body to go in good health. You don't want it broken down. You don't want, the reality is we're getting older. And how you get older, what you do now really will depend, will tomorrow will depend on what you're doing now and how seriously you take this part of your transition. So that's what I'd like to leave with you, the post
Self
with
care
the
is not
self-care.
selfish, and minimize your stress. I have another question. Now, Corenda, I'm making sure we are intentionally being very careful that we do not call Patrice Lockhart a doctor. She is not a medical physician. She is a
Oh, that
certified.
happens all the time. I
Yeah,
keep
but
telling
I
people,
know we
and
have to
some of
be
my clients
careful.
come in. Yeah, I keep on telling them, and some of my clients say, I don't care. Look here, you help me. And the thing is, yeah, I tell people I specialize. Even though I've been in natural health prior to this. Um,
Yes.
I specifically, everything was menopause. Now, menopause, of course, the nutrition, the emotional, all the different aspects we had to study, yes, but I didn't
Correct.
go
Say,
into
well,
the
that's
other
your name for
aspects.
this purpose. She's thinking with Dr. Lockhart. But anyway, she says she has a friend who is experiencing a high sex drive during menopause. Is this not? But child, I didn't get to finish it. I guess her
Oh,
husband is her
child, please.
husband at the point of complaining or no?
Yes, let me tell you what happens now.
So it isn't just a low sex drive; it could be a high one as well.
I'm working with someone right now. It is so horrible, and she's single. Listen, what happens is, see, now it's all of our hormones that's involved in menopause, but in particularly, estrogen is our sex hormone that makes us a woman. Okay, it's our hormone that makes us a woman. The progesterone hormone is what helps us to have babies. Uh, Estrogen works with testosterone to give us our sex drive. Some women's on, pew. Some women's on, and when that goes up, oh, listen, I have let me share how bad it can get. It can go just as low as it can go. It can go bad. I have a lady I'm working with, and It's been so bad. Doctors have been taking advantage of her. It's been an embarrassing situation for her
Mm.
because medically she's been trying to get help before she met me. And she's been away, she's been here. And because she's so stimulated, literally it's a shame and it's embarrassing, but a number of doctors have taken advantage of her. And she has, I mean, you talk about weeping and crying, and when people say to her, you know, they wish it was her, and her thing is, you know, you
You
don't.
do not.
No,
You do
you
not.
don't. Because I know when my
Anything in
cortisol
its extreme is bad.
can be terrifying and horrific. And I am actually right now working with her so that we can do something about it. But I had to go outside to do some things because I don't have a clinic as yet. You know, I'm just on the scene. And what I'm doing now, my biggest thing I feel and I'm led to do is education first.
Yes, yes.
Education, because we can help. The more I educate women, the more they can help themselves. And I will continue to provide what they need and expand it. But the biggest thing first is education.
Well, Corenda, I put the number 439-3242. I put it in the chat. Give the number to your friend and please ask her to give Patrice a
Mm,
call.
yeah.
Patrice, I just want to thank you so much. Sisters, thank you for showing up and being active. I hope that you enjoyed the show and that you had some great takeaways. Now, listen, listen, listen. Patrice did say that if there are enough people interested, she would come. If there are enough women interested, that she would definitely come back and we will do a more private, personal session and talk more, especially about the vaginal issues, but touching on everything. So if that is something that you are interested in happening or would like to happen, let me know, please. You can go ahead and put it in the comments now, or you can send me a WhatsApp with your name at 826-6278, and I will let Patrice know. So if you are interested in Patrice coming over to Grand Bahama and conducting a session, go ahead and put it in the comments now. I'll take it before we close out. But there may also be people who didn't tune in, women who didn't tune in, who you want to tell. So you can go ahead and you can um, send us, send me a WhatsApp saying, Laverne, this is whoever, and I am interested. That's 826-6278. And you just go ahead, give us your name, and say, I am interested, and we will go from there. But I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so very much to you. Okay, Erica, sorry, Lavette. I have your name. I see that you were interested, and Sheila, I believe that you are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Before we go, we have a giveaway. We have a giveaway before we go. Okay, it's not a giveaway with Patrice, but there is a giveaway that we want to do when we have a show. You know, Hey Sis Coffee and Conversation is also a part of Hey Sis Empowerment and Resource Center for Women. So, two things. We want to first say, if you would like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us and let us know that you would like to sponsor an episode. I'm going to put the ticker on. It's right there with the information if you'd like to. And guess what? We take donations of any size. So go ahead and reach out to us. The ticker is on so that you can make note. But we have a food voucher that we would like to give away. If you are here, if you are here on this broadcast and you are a woman in need, it's rough for you, it's hard for you, you don't have any groceries, we have a food voucher that I would like to give away. Now, listen, please do not do this if you know you are okay. Don't do this because when you went to the food store, you couldn't pick up the extra pack of steak. We would like to help women who are in need. So if you are in need of a food voucher, we would like to assist you. Go ahead and you can send that privately to me. Okay? You don't have to put it here in the comments. You can do a private comment to me and let me know your name. But you have to be in Grand Bahama. If you are in Grand Bahama and you have that need, please go ahead and send me a private message in the comments and let me know, or send me a WhatsApp at 826-6278. Only me. That's my phone. So, I know sometimes we are embarrassed, but if you are in need, go ahead and send that to me. Okay? Because we want to help each other, and that is what this is about. This is about helping each other. Okay? And that's the goal of Hatis Empowerment. And just building and helping, highlighting and encouraging women. And so we do have a food voucher that we'd like to give you a gift certificate so that you can get some food for you and your family. So go ahead and let me know. But again, Patrice Lockhart, please,
Mhm.
please, please, you got to come to Freeport. I'm already getting people WhatsApping me. I can see my phone is going off. And in the comments, people are saying that they are interested. And so I want you to come to Freeport. Y'all let me know. We're going to make this happen.
Okay.
We're going to
Yeah.
see how we can do this and make this happen, because this is the conversation that we need to have. We're going to have an intimate session and we're going to
Mhm.
have this discussion. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for Patrice. You didn't get to share your story, but let me tell y'all, when y'all come to the intimate session, Patrice will share her story. Child, talk about falling asleep on the job. Patrice will tell you. Falling asleep in
Mhm.
big meeting, right, Patrice? I never forgot that.
Listen,
The
listen.
meeting going on,
Corporate
Patrice
meeting.
falling asleep.
And the
In a
only
group of
female,
males.
and not because I wanted to, but I wasn't
Half
sleeping.
asleep.
Wasn't
So
sleeping.
definitely we gotta talk about it, because some of us we sleepy. We sleepy and we
Mhm.
like, what
Tired.
happened?
And you
What's
gotta
going
show up
on?
to
We're
work
tired.
every day, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But you're not bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but you have to show up.
Mm-mm, not at all.
Mhm. Yeah.
So absolutely thank you. And thank you, sisters, for tuning in to Hastings Coffee and Conversation. I appreciate each of you. And we will see you, because we come on every other Sunday. So we'll be back again with another topic and another discussion, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Again, reach out to us if you would like to sponsor a show. We would be so happy to receive it. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I want to say that my team won today. It was an ugly win, but I'll take that. But I want you all around the world, pray for the Denver Broncos, because, child, please, 50 points you get beat by, that's a lot. That's for my sisters who's watch football. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and let's keep talking, right? Let's
Yes,
talk. I
yes.
have to change this, because this say, hey, this coffee and conversation. I gotta change the name of my show now. Anyway, I'm not changing it. Let's keep talking, and hey, sis, let's have coffee and conversation. Have a
Yes.
wonderful Sunday, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you so much
Bye-bye.
for tuning in.
Thank you so much for having